Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Pitstop Fracas. Today we have a special episode in store for you where we're going to be going through the 2022 driver lineup, what we all predict. So we've not got all the cast views, we've got 5 of our views up on screen for you. For those listening on audio, I'll be sure to read them out so you're not missing out on any of the fun. To join me today, I have Kunle, Kwame, Richard, and Celia. Kwame, let me come to you first. How you keeping, mate? And I might as well ask you as well, Kunle. Two Chelsea fans on the back of a cup final loss. How are you keeping?
Well, I've just recovered from yesterday. It was a crazy game. Nico has again disallowed because of VAR. We're not gonna talk about it too much. I don't get too angry right now. I'm trying to look into the future of F1 driver lineups. So hopefully, Champions League 2 weeks time to get better. Even today, the women's. Hopefully, they play better than the men's. Because
nice to hear, mate. Nice to hear. And you, Kunle, how you keeping?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Life is good. The sun's out. Nadal's just won another Masters 1000 title. So yeah, I don't know what happened yesterday, but yeah, we're here. Talking F1.
We'll keep it moving. And in case our listeners and viewers hadn't noticed already, Celia is with us today. Line of Duty is finished. Sergio Perez was probably watching Line of Duty as well these past few Sundays, considering his performances since the start of the year. But Celia, how are you keeping?
I'm fine. I've been hearing all of you lots talking about Perez, but it's okay. I'm back and I will be here defending him. Always.
That's what we like to hear. He's come out with a few bold statements ahead of Monaco. Hopefully we'll squeeze some time in today to go through that and assess his performance since the start of the year. Last but not least, Richard, how you keeping, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. No, not too bad. Mayad's a bit kettled as well, with the Allison last minute winner. Somehow we might, if that ends up being the case of us blagging top 4, then boy, we eating good. But anyway, enough about football. Let's move on to some 4-in-1 action.
Yeah. Let's get stuck into it. So, like all great businesses do, great firms do, we like to get our job and our work done early. So we sat down this week. We thought, you know what? Let's look at what the potential driver lineups that there could be for the 2022 season. And if you are watching us on the YouTube, you can see we've got up on the screen a list of all the drivers and teams that we think will be for the 2022 season. And of course, if you are on the YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. For the purposes of those who are listening via audio, I'll be sure to read it out for you. We might as well just get straight into it.
Just to say, we did actually all do this separately, so I don't believe any of us actually sat down and saw what any other person was doing. So these are all very good personal predictions.
Yeah, definitely. This was all done independently, with no form of bias there. We'll put it that way. So the first one that we have is, we might as well look at all the teams who we think is going to be no real movers from 21 to 22. Let's touch on Red Bull. We might as well. We all said that Verstappen and Perez will continue to race for Red Bull in 2022. Celia, let me come to you first on this. Why did you think it's still going to remain that way? Obviously, Max is going to be pretty secure, but what does Perez need to do to stay there?
Do you know what it is? I think he needs to improve on his quali. I think the first race was a bit off. I think he had car issues and his quali wasn't great. And then the next race, he had an amazing quali. And then he messed up the second race. I'm not going to lie to you guys, he did. Third race. Are we in? Was last week the third race or the fourth race? I'm even keep losing
track.
Last
week was the fourth race.
The fourth, yeah. So the third and fourth race, he didn't have amazing qualies and he got stuck behind cars. Last week it was behind Ricciardo, and that really, really, really like hindered him. I think that if he had managed to get past Ricciardo earlier, he would have done far better. But so I think that his main thing he needs to work on now is having a quali that's very, very good. And then once he has that good quali, it's about like working on it. He's very good at doing recovery drives, but at Red Bull, that's not what you should be doing. What you should be doing is qualifying strong. Like it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it was 1, 2, 3, 4 at one point, but he was on medium tires. I think was it Sainz that was on softs, but he just needs to secure and make sure that the start is brilliant. I think once he has that, his middle driving is fine. It's that quali and that start that needs to be like on point. I think that's all he needs to do. I think his team, they're happy with his pace, his race pace while racing. It's his quali that they need him better on. From what I've heard so far, they said that like how he's working with the car, even the way Max relates with him, you can tell that there's a bit of respect. I don't know if any of you have seen that, but that was me. But maybe I'm biased. But like even when he wanted to talk to him after the race about the car, I think he truly does think that Perez understands racing. So I think that they've probably got a relatively good relationship as well, which I don't think Max always gets with drivers in general. So I think that's why I've put it. That's why I've still put him there, because I still think that we're early in the season. He can fix these things, and if he fixes them, it's going to be fine. That's what I think.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, it would be nice from Red Bull's point of view if he was qualifying between 4th and 1st, because if he's there at the start of the race, he can help influence the strategy. And I think if he was there at the business end of the grid, he could have helped, especially in the last race. I'm going to come to you on this, Richard. What does Max is secure, whatever happens. What does Perez need to do to make sure he's there next year? Because we've all predicted Perez to be there next year, but it's not a nailed on certainty, if you kind of see where I'm coming from. What does he need to do?
To be honest with you, he just needs to try and get as many top 4 finishes as he can, really, and try help Red Bull and the constructors, really. Obviously, with Albon and Gasly, their form was very much up and down, mostly more down more than up. With Checo, he's kind of proven himself over the midfield rather than like the last 7-8 years that he is a capable driver. And you saw with the pink Mercedes that he was even able to get 4th in the championship last year. So with a lot faster car, you would hope, if there's not too much of a case on the second Red Bull seat, that he will be able to at least challenge the mix, even get a couple podiums as well. Even, sometimes even like he did at, I think, Imola, I can't remember what it was, where he out-qualified Max as well. And, the way the two of them just kind of like ganged up on Lewis, that sort of thing. That's the sort of thing that Red Bull wants. They want to separate the mix all the time. They want to gang up on Lewis all the time. So I think as long as he puts in, I'd say, top half it. Well, yeah, like top 5 finishes in terms of where he's finishing in races and whatnot, and looking good in the constructors. I'd like to assume that he should be safe for next year.
But the thing is, I agree with you. But the reason why I go back to the quali is because that's when they can put kind of the most pressure on when he's starting in the top. Because first race in, he started behind, had a great recovery drive. I think he came 5th or something. I think that doesn't help Red Bull. And I think that's the problem for Horner, especially. Like in their head, all they're trying to do is beat Mercedes or make life difficult for Mercedes. It's great having a great recovery drive. It's great coming, even if he came for like last week's race. If he didn't get stuck behind Ricciardo, he could have caught up to Leclerc and overtaken him and gotten into like 4th, I think it was, or 5th. I think he was 5th and he came 4th or 6th, whatever the case may be. But he would have been closer, but it still wouldn't have helped in terms of the strategy that allowed Lewis to do the 2-stop instead of the 1-stop and take that risk. Yeah. So I think that's why I'm saying that in terms of how he's helping Red Bull, he needs to qualify and he needs to be in the mix from the start. That's the one thing Bottas does. As much as I don't like him, that is the one thing he does. Quality, he always turns up. He's always there. 2nd, 3rd. I mean, last when was it? 2 races ago when he came 5th, when he qualified as 6th or something like that. And that was the first time.
Yeah.
And that was first time since 2018. Technically, he's very reliable in that sense. And I think Perez needs to be that kind of reliable, even if you're not amazing at race pace, even if you're not amazing at all those things, which he is. I think he's a better driver than Bottas. But when it comes to quali, you're not doing what Bottas does, which would benefit Red Bull as we see it always benefits Mercedes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. You know, Perez needs to be there or thereabouts, especially for the remainder of the season, because it looks like it's going to be, you know, a slugfest between Hamilton and Verstappen. So those secondary drivers, Bottas and Verstappen, Bottas and Perez, are going to be crucial for that championship battle for the drivers as well as the constructors. So look, let's see how that pans out. We all have said Verstappen and Perez for next year. We might as well go on to another nailed on certainty that we think, and that's the McLaren lineup. We think that it's going to be Ricciardo and Norris at the helm. You know, Norris seems to be fairly stable there. He's doing really well this year. Ricciardo's getting to terms with the car. You know, Kunle's giving him till next week. I'm giving him till November to step up. But Kunle, let me come on to you for this. It seems like Norris is obviously their star boy. What do they both need to do to make sure that they have a seat in McLaren next year?
To be honest, I don't think Norris needs to do anything to have a seat in McLaren. He's probably going to be the face of that team for a while. You know, British, young. He has his Twitch thing, so he brings in fans for them. Most people that watch Norris probably just watch him because of his Twitch. And, you know, the boy can drive a car. He's a good driver, so he has that going for him. And for Danny Rick, I mean, to be honest, I put Ricciardo there because contractual, like based on his contract, I think he signed a 2-year contract, I think. So based on his contract, he's going to be there next year. And he has the abilities to be. I put him, you know, there's the Lewis tier, and then the next tier is just right there. I think on his good day, he gets podiums, he gets race wins when he's having a good race. He's quick, he qualifies decently. I've been shining the light on him, you know, but people are saying I've been a bit too harsh, but probably because of the standards that I sort of set for him as a racing driver for the past, you know, 3 years. For the past 3 to 4 years, I've put him on certain standards. So, let's see. I don't think it really needs to do much. I just think he needs to just get used to the car, and maybe post summer break we might see a different Ricciardo. I mean, we're starting to see a different one. He had a solid last race last time around. So, if the car is working well, I don't think it would need to do anything spectacular. Now, the question would now be, maybe for 2023, does it need to do something next year to be there for 2023? Because there are going to be more drivers around. There are going to be more, you know, new rules and new cars and different things. But for now, I think both of them are safe right now.
Yeah, I think that's fairly locked in. You know, there's no real debate to be had at McLaren. He's just come in this year. Ricciardo is very, very strong possibility that he'll also be there next year as well. We might as well turn our attentions to Ferrari, another team who we think there's going to be no movers or shakers there. Kwame, let me come to you on this. Leclerc, he signed that bumper contract with them. Sainz has also come in this year. He's shown a bit of promise. Leclerc also this week. Okay, and those of you that are watching on YouTube, I have spelt Ferrari incorrectly. Please ignore that. It was my rush in typing in Ferrari. I was too busy thinking about Allison and Liverpool. But yeah, there is 2 R's in Ferrari that I've missed out. But yeah, anyway, Kwame, let me come to you on this. With regard to Ferrari, are we seeing a bit of improvement this year, especially on last year? We can see that, and do you reckon they're going to be challenging in Monaco as Leclerc has suggested?
So with Ferrari, I feel like they have made improvements this year. This year they're currently 4th in the constructors race, which is a big improvement on last year. where they were, I'm pretty sure, 6th, 7th. They're sitting in the constructors, so they've made improvements and they're currently fighting McLaren at the moment to be the best of the rest. So yeah, they've been constantly getting points. They haven't got a podium yet, even though last season it was all for them to still got a podium. But I feel like Ferrari making leaps and bounds. I feel like the lineup they've got is one of the best in the fields. Leclerc, we talk about Verstappen being a generational talent, but Leclerc's definitely up there. He's in a worse car and he's done well in his performances and science. He just joined the team. He has been up there with Leclerc. So I do feel like Monaco, especially as well, it's Charles' home Grand Prix. They could be doing well. And even, but again with Ferrari, I mean, they've been known to be doing better in qualifying, and they're one lap pace race as well. And especially with the track Monaco, where there's very limited opportunities to overtake, that could definitely go well for them in their that could definitely go well for them in the race. So yeah,
it'll be a home. Yeah, it will be a home Grand Prix for Leclerc. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at Monaco. Might be a bit too soon, but he did say that he expects him to be challenging, and obviously for all the work that they're doing back at the factory to be paying off in the short term. Any more thoughts on Ferrari, guys?
Wait, Leclerc signed a lifetime contract, didn't he?
Essentially, yeah.
Well, basically, it was a 5-year contract, but yeah,
Okay.
Basically, that's.
I think Sainz had 2 years, right?
Yeah. Contract.
Yeah.
2 years.
So I think contractually, I don't think Ferrari are going to dump Sainz. It's not that bad of a driver to dump him 1 year later. I think they're still going to give him that 1 year, and whatever happens. A lot of these secured seats are only secured up until the end of next season, not this season, up until the end of next season. That's when most of the secured seats are secured. Then I think Sainz and maybe Ricciardo might just start watching their backs from next year, because all of these teams have like drivers in other places or other pockets. Like I know Ferrari have like 4 possible drivers that could fill in a second seat from their academy, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The academy is stacked as well at the moment. We'll get to them there, but they've got drivers like Schumacher, Eilert, Schwartzman, and Armstrong. But even then, I don't think I'm not sure if they're ready now to get them moved to the first team. They even had an issue with Giovinazzi, who's linked with Ferrari. So even the academy drivers there, the test driver. But even even though I don't really personally, we'll get to the Alfa Romeo section, but I don't see him, even something like that, I don't see them being comfortable being in the first or second seat, especially when you've got drivers like Leclerc and Sainz doing well. And yes, even though they came 6th last year, they've got 2 good drivers now.
It was pissed they didn't sign him last year though. Giovinazzi.
Yeah, what was it?
Yeah, he thought he was going to get the seat ahead of Sainz.
He did, yeah.
No, to be honest, I think he was very much delusional, if that's what he thought. No offense. I think that. Sorry, I just think that's delusional. There's no way. Leclerc is a kind of not junior driver. Leclerc and Norris aren't junior drivers, but they're not. They haven't been around for like long. I think Sainz and Ricciardo. I think sometimes, like how when Aston Martin brought Vettel, and I couldn't understand, and I get you guys said, oh, because he's won championships before, he's got that knowledge. I think some teams do want that one stable, that person that's got the know-how, that that even if, like say with Ricciardo, it was unheard of before coming to McLaren that his teammate would out-qualify him. Or that those kind of statements that you don't make them about junior people. So I think that their seats are safe, yes, because of contracts, but also because of what they've done in the past. Like even Ricciardo, I think moving on, he is going to have better races. Last week was an example of that. And even in an interview, I think it was him and Hamilton. And Hamilton said, you've got a good car, you need to pull your finger out, mate. Like literally, because even if Hamilton's talking to you like that, it's because he's thinking, no, but you're a good driver. These are people who are proved known good drivers. Sainz puts in solid drives. Even when he was at Was he not at McLaren? He was at McLaren. No?
Yeah, it was
It was
McLaren.
McLaren.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Even
he was
McLaren
putting in
is-
solid drives. Even coming into Ferrari, he was cute. He's always qualified top 10. Like he's looked
Yeah.
comfortable. He looks
There
like
or
he's doing
thereabouts,
well.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think for a while, I don't think that they will want to go so junior that they have 2 juniors or that's my personal opinion. So that's why I think that they're pretty safe, those people.
Yeah, definitely. I think Ferrari's pretty safe. They both got the contracts there. There's no real reason to suggest why there will be any change at the Scuderia. The next team who we think is locked in is Aston Martin, with Vettel and Stroll at the team there next year. Now, I think as much as the other 3 were a bit straightforward, this is where, you get into a bit of murky waters, bit of a grey area. Stroll's going to be there. He's daddy's boy, isn't he? And according to some,
Wait,
Kunle.
Anik. Don't do Stroll like that. Is that his boy? And he's wait, hold on. He is also a decent driver. Stop it. Don't do it.
He's a decent driver.
He's
Kunle. He's a decent driver. He's a decent driver, but
Okay.
regardless of if he's decent or not, his seat is still locked in, right?
Definitely. He's the number 1 driver there,
But why is he the number 1 driver? Tell us where you stand on Vettel. Why is he the number 1 driver there?
I have this theory. I might be wrong.
Tell us your theory.
I might be wrong, but Vettel was brought in to make Stroll look amazing. That's my thing.
Stop it.
That's my thing. Like, check the stats. I don't I'm not even arguing. Check the stats.
For 15 million? Really?
Yeah.
However much he's on?
And a bit of clout. Stroll don't get paid, right? It's his daddy, right? It's his inheritance.
I said he don't get paid.
He's gonna inherit the team at some point. So
I said he's doing an internship at Aston Martin.
Yeah,
that is such an expensive. That's such an expensive. It's such an expensive cost to make your son look good. And at the end of the day, what's his name? The dad. He is not he's a businessman at the end of the day when it comes down to it. He will crunch numbers as much as he loves his son. I think that Stroll's seat is safe because of that. I think the only thing that's saving Vettel at the moment is the fact that the low rake, the changes that were implemented this season that have affected low rate cars more than higher rate cars is the only thing that's actually kind of keeping Vettel in the giving him more of a grace, in my opinion. That is, and his history, because honestly, even Otmar all the time, he's making digs at the change and how it affected them. And obviously, because they copied Mercedes the last time, I don't think they have the know-how how to make up for the speed that they're losing based on the changes that have been made. But no, I don't agree with the fact that it should be Vettel's there because to make Stroll look better. I have to disagree.
Yeah, go for it, Kwame.
I was about to say, if that was the case, that'd be a pretty expensive mentorship, pretty expensive. Take your son to work day, which Kunle is suggesting. Listen, I feel like he brought him in because he thought Vettel had the experience, 4-time world driver championship. We can get onto him and question him, but he saw the records there, so the accolades, and he thought it's gonna make the strides to the team closer to the top 2 that they thought it was going to be, and it hasn't been the case sadly this season so far. So we'll see if they improve or not. But yeah,
I think a lot of us would have based these predictions on the fact that Aston Martin will get better as the season goes on. As Celia touched on already, they have made some changes to the car, and it remains to be seen whether they will fight their way up the field, because they're not doing that well at the moment. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. The next team that I think we should turn our attentions to is Alpha Tauri, whatever they're called, second string Red Bull. What we've said for them is that Yuki Tsunoda will remain. However, there's a bit of movers and shakers here. So for the purposes of our audio listeners, Rich has gone for Tsunoda and Lawson. I've gone for Tsunoda and Albon. So has Kunle. Kwame said Tsunoda and Gasly, so to remain with the current lineup. And Celia's also said the same. So the one constant is Yuki Tsunoda. So you could well use the analogy that he who shouts loudest gets heard. Or maybe in the case of Yuki Tsunoda, he who swears the most gets heard. It seems fairly nailed on that Tsunoda is going to be there next year. But I want to come to you on this, Kunle. You said Albon. I said Albon as well. We feel as though he can make a comeback next year. Why is that?
Yeah, they're bringing him back out of the sweatshop. I mean, it's facts is facts. The doctor does not like Pierre Gasly. You know, he does not speak well of Pierre Gasly, and I think this is like Gasly's final year contract, or Gasly's. I think his contract is coming to an end or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of him for Albon. And I feel like Christian Horner believes in Albon a lot. Like, he has that faith in him. And all the reason why he's not in F1 this year is just to take him out of the spotlight. You know, let him go do something else, drive the simulator, do like 4 different types of racing tours. I won't be surprised if he turns up on Le Mans as well, like, just for bands, for vibes. But like, I feel like they're just taking that light away from him, and they'll bring him back next year. Maybe not to Red Bull, maybe to the Alpha Tauri, and it will probably be able to prove himself again. So that was my thought process behind that. And again, I've been reading in different places like Gasly is likely out after the end of this year because it doesn't really speak well of the Red Bull setup either. It doesn't praise them. It doesn't really shout them. But also, if Tsunoda is not getting the results and is swearing at them continuously, I won't be surprised if they chuck him out as well. So that seat there is that one that's like, anything can happen. If the doctor takes his meds today and it feels great, then yeah. If he's not feeling good, if he's pissed off at someone, anything happens.
You don't mess with a doctor, innit, Kunle? You always have to look over your shoulder when you're at Red Bull.
Yeah, he's a ruthless man.
Exactly. I know, but if you're Max Verstappen, you're safe. Let's be honest. You're always going to be safe if you're Max Verstappen. Any other driver in that whole Red Bull fraction, institution, whatever they got going on, man, you're never safe. I'm going to come to you on this, Richard. You went for Liam Lawson and Tsunoda. What was your thinking behind that?
Kind of to pick off what Kunle was saying, I think Gasly's going to be out at the end of the season, no matter what sort of season he has. I just think with AlphaTauri, they'll probably be happy with Gasly anyway. But at the end of the day, Red Bull get the final decision really. And I think if you're AlphaTauri, you're not with a view to progressing up to Red Bull, you kind of just taking up a seat. So, and I think with Red Bull and AlphaTauri, it's more like a conveyor belt sort of thing. So they would want to, they've already got 3 academy drivers in F2 competing, which is Liam Lawson, Yuri Vips, and Jehan Deravula. I know butchered his name. They've got them 3. Yeah,
flying the Indian flag for us.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm not trying to offend. So
no, it's playing.
No, so so they've got them 3 competing in F2. So my theory is that they'll probably want to get one of them up into that AlphaTauri seat for next year. It could be Jehan, it could be Yuri. I just said Liam just because he had a good first race, so first weekend even in Bahrain. So I just kind of went for him just randomly, really. But yeah, as with Tsunoda, I just think he's kind of nailed on, especially with all the hype behind him and whatnot. Unless he has like a disastrous season, but I can't really see that happening, to be honest.
Yeah, hopefully Sonoda took on our comments from the last pod and, can hopefully improve his performances going forward and not shout down the radio, man. This is your team. You've got to look after them.
Right,
Or a
Anik,
doctor might come knocking. What's up,
Anik,
Kunle?
I've got a question for Richard. So, Richard, you say, for these guys at the Red Bull setup, if Red Bull don't see you driving for Red Bull, then you're taking space. That said, we know Gasly is done Red Bull and they've dropped him down and they've not looked at him again. Or they're not looking at him again, because if they were looking at him, they would have brought him back up again after this year. So do you think Albon is done and out of F1 with Red Bull? Is that what you
No, because I think with Albon, I've got the feeling that they view him a bit differently rather than to drop him back down to AlphaTauri. I think it's between him. I think for next year it's between him and Checo for the Red Bull seat. I think they'd want to give him another go straight into the Red Bull seat rather than drop him down, to be honest. Because they've already given it, because at the end of the day, they gave him 18 months in that Red Bull seat. He did have his good moments and he did have his bad moments as well. I think it'll almost be like taking up a seat / a waste of time if they're just relegating them to a mid-table team, basically. So I think what they're going to do is that if they are going to bring him back, they're going to put him back into the deep end again with Red Bull. Because you need to bear in mind, he is still keeping up race sharpness with being a DTM, and he is their test and development driver. So he gets input on the development of the Red Bull car, especially for next year. So with that making sense, there's no point in slopping him back down to AlphaTauri if you're making him be a part of the development. So that's why I think it's a straight shootout between him and Checo for next year's seat. In fact, I even think he's probably get prepped up for a 2023 seat, really. Depending on how Checo does, really. So that's why I
have a question. Is my signal okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Loud and clear.
Great. So in terms of Checo and Albon, I would hate to see it happen. However, do you think that if Checo had like a solid season moving forward, like everything was great, do you think Albon would still get a shot at that seat?
No, I don't. Okay. No, I think because you need to be a man, Checo is kind of like the way with Mark Webber was. He's been brought out. He's been brought in from the outside. He's not came through the academy or through their system, so he's not going to be there for a long time.
No.
3 years maximum. No matter what he does, he's going to be there. Yeah, I just think dependent because they're going to be very stringent on Checo for him to perform. If he's not getting a Bottas, they'll probably bin him off for Albon and take that risk to hope that Albon's developed in those 12 months. Really.
Yeah.
So
that I agree with.
Yeah. So I see it as that. It's kind of like I'd say it's like 75-25 at the moment for Checo. But as I said, unless he has a disastrous season, which I don't really see that happening, but it's F1, anything can happen. I see Checo getting another year. But the only way Checo can make it awkward for Red Bull if he maybe wins the title next year. So other than that, or maybe maybe finishes ahead of Max. Something really awkward to where there's not really a justification to get rid of Checo for Albon because there's no guarantees Albon will do what Checo did. And then it'll be outrage. Or if he's finished second in the championship, hypothetically, why would you bring Albon in? So, yeah, that's how I see it, really.
I understand. I actually feel quite sorry for Gasly, though. Because I know, he does well at
He's in an awkward spot,
And AlphaTauri like him. You can even tell when they're talking on the radio, when they're talking to principal, they like him. It's Red Bull that just is done, finished.
I mean, he's given them probably one of their greatest moments in the past 10 years with that race win at Monza, which I love to remind Kunle of. Has a fantastic race win last year. And look, Kunle, you might as well continue watching the tennis, bro. I'm going to keep reminding you of this race win at Monza that filled AlphaTauri with such excitement and happiness. But
so sorry, one last thing on Gasly.
Yeah.
You see what the thing with Gasly that puts him in that position is that he did not do what Sainz did. So you see with Carlos Sainz, remember Carlos Sainz and Max were in Alpha together.
Yeah, Toro Rosso.
Toro Rosso at the time. And when that sit opened up at Red Bull, who got the call? When Kvyat got dumped. Max got the call. and Kvyat got dropped down. And I think that was the point where Carlos Sainz was like, you know what? This man don't rate me. I'm just here to fill up the space. If I don't make my way myself,
It's never going to happen.
They're going to replace me at some point. So
yeah, no, I get you.
So,
Get your point.
So you get my point, right? You see what I'm saying? So the thing is, so now what Gasly should have done was find himself a seat that was open up last year. If he had a long-term contract at a different seat, he's not worrying about whether it's going to be at AT next year or not. You know, it would be in the same position like Ricciardo is or Carlos Sainz is. Even if it's a temporary 2-year drive, and you use your performances to leverage another contract. But now it's like we can all sort of agree that regardless of how well it drives for AlphaTauri next year, for this year, there's a chance he's getting kicked out of that team or he's leaving the team, regardless of how well he drives.
I think he was still. So remember Drive to Survive when we were watching it. I think when they were showing his scene for the Monza win and everything, it was Monza, right? No?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Monza.
That's the only place to Russell.
But when they showed that, when he was talking, I think he still was trying to prove to Red Bull. So I agree with what you mean. Like Sainz's mind shifted a lot earlier than Gasly's mind shifted, because up until that point, he was still trying to, in the car driving, I can't remember, but there was still this kind of idea that he was twerking for Red Bull. In a sense, like he was trying to like really show them that he could do it. But, I think he's realized now that Red Bull just do favorites. It's very clear.
I think also with Pierre as well. I feel like issue with him. I feel like he's comfortable at AlphaTauri because he's the main guy. He's got the experience. He's got the knowledge. He can lead the team. But the issue is with that Red Bull seat. I think he knows with that Red Bull seat, he's not getting there because they don't want him. Even in this tribune to Anton Hubert, rest in peace. He even started this in the Red Bull team there and started saying, listen, I don't feel comfortable with Red Bull. They don't want me. But I thought it's an issue where he's comfortable being the big fish in the small pond. But I feel like if he doesn't want to be the small fish in the big pond, and part of me feel like that's why he hasn't looked at the other teams, because the only available seats now, really true, I could say, is Alfa Romeo, Williams, Haas. And I don't think he wants to take the downgrade to go down. So I think he's just comfortable where he's at, but he wants to leave and go to a bigger team. And that's kind of the issue. I feel like Alpine possibly, but Ocon's performed well now. And we'll get into Alpine later anyways. But yeah.
Yeah, but I think with Gasly, though, he needs to kind of play the long game like what Sainz did. Because Sainz went on loan to Renault for 4 races. And then he done a full season there. And then he managed to get the reward of going to McLaren, done 2 years at McLaren. Now he's at Ferrari. If you would have said that 5 years ago, people would have laughed at you, Sainz at Ferrari alongside Leclerc and whatnot. So I think with him dropping down, it's like a Williams or Haas or whatever, he needs to play the long game of doing half decent or whatever for like a year or two, then go up to another mid-table side, whether it be like Alpine or whoever's in the mid-table, and then he can get to a top side. It obviously won't be Red Bull, but if he can go to whoever's popping in, next 3, 4, 5 years, whether it be McLaren, like Mercedes, Ferrari.
Is a good
yeah, something like that. Then that will open up, basically. So I think he needs to play the long game, really, because he's 25 now, and he's still got time on the side, but he doesn't want to be wasting his best years away, really. In mediocre cars.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, Richard, I kind of agree with you there. I think he's got to stop putting himself in the shop window for Red Bull. Like, word of advice, you don't go back to your ex, innit? It don't work out. So just forget it, leave it, move on, and you'll get back to Red Bull eventually. So I personally think moving forward onto our next team, obviously, I've suggested that he's probably going to go to Alpine. Not as a stepping stone next year, but I think he's going to do a couple of years there. And then similar to Vettel, maybe end up at Ferrari, maybe end up at McLaren. He doesn't necessarily, in my view, need to go back to Red Bull. I think that ship has sailed. Cut your ties and bite them right where it hurts. And that's by driving for a rival and hopefully toppling them. So yeah, my suggestion is that Gasly is going to be at Alpine next year alongside Esteban Ocon. There's been a suggestion around it online. I can see that happening. To be honest with you, I don't see Fernando Alonso covering himself in a lot of glory this year. He's on a heavy contract. I think as the season goes on, you're going to see Alonso shine through. I think, I personally, I think he complains a lot. I think he's not the driver that he once was. This is not 2009. This is not 2006. It's not even 2012. Like this,
Telesex days. It's not them days no more.
Yeah, it's not them days no more. You know, they rebranded this year. You know, they got a nice color car. You know, they got Alonso there. But personally, I don't think he will be there next year. However, Kwame, you think he will? Now, what makes you think Alonso and Ocon will remain at Alpine next year?
Well, sticking with Alonso, I feel like this year Alonso, that guy's got too much pride. You see how he is when he drives. You see how he is when he's got interviews. I don't see him. He just joined this year. I don't see him trying to dip after just a year in. That's flopped. I think he tries to stick out to his contract, especially as well when Alpine have done big money for him as well. Even though it's looking like at the moment Ocon's gonna outdo him.
He's got him, hasn't he? Hasn't he got him 3-1 in race?
Yeah,
he
has. He has. Alonso only beat him in the first race, and since then Ocon's been on job. So yeah, I feel like Alonso is too much pride, and I feel like Alpine with too much pride as well. So I don't think they're gonna cut losses just yet. I think I'll still cap for the regulations for 2022. If it doesn't work out or Alonso gets tired, then I think he'll leave after the next season. I think we'll see his contract. With Ocon's interesting because if you asked me before the season started, I would have been saying Gasly would have been there. I was rating Ocon last year, but this year he's been doing pretty well. He's been up to toes with Alonso, who some people say is one of the best in this current generation. I'm not saying that, but he's a 2-time world champion. He's the guy to beat Schumacher, guy to go head to toe against Hamilton and Vettel. And Ocon's doing well this season, so I feel like they will stick out Ocon. And yeah, I see them two kind of staying for next season. After that, we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess, Celia, you echo the same sentiment as you've also gone for Ocon and Alonso for next year as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be similar to how we had Vettel and Ferrari. The first, you have the first season, they'll want to see it work. They will hopefully try. So I think by next season, if it's not working, then you'll see it go. I just don't think they're going to want to let go immediately. I think pride for the team, like they made too big of a deal of him coming back. It was part of the rebrand. It was, I think, Ricky leaving, one big contract. I just think I think they will stick with him for at least 1.5. By halfway through next season, if it's not going well, we'll hear that he's going. But I think anytime soon, no. I think they'll stick it out.
Nice. Any more, Richard, Kunle, on the Alpine setup before we get into Alfa and Haas?
I think so. I know I put Ocon and who did I put up again?
You put Alonso and Gasly.
I know I put Gasly up there, but I think Alonso stays. I mean, I said he's getting 20 large. They're giving him 20 M's or something. Yeah. I'm not walking away from.
So he's got to justify that, though.
I'm not walking away from it, though. Like I don't care what kind of pride I've got. I'm staying there. If I'm finishing last, I'm finishing last. I'm getting my 20 large. I'm smiling. I'm good. And I put Gasly there initially because I felt like Ocon probably would leave. But then thinking about it, I know Ocon, like I don't know why I always forget this, but I know Ocon is like in a triangle with Mercedes and Alpine. But then Toto has also said that it's Alpine that has first call on him, because it's their current driver and he has the choice to stay with them and sign a longer term contract, or there's nothing at Mercedes for him. So, and I don't think he's going to go drive at Williams. And unless Mercedes decide to buy Alfa Romeo or Ferrari, or they decide to buy another team into F1, he needs to drive because he's good at it. So I think even though I've got Alonso and Gasly up there, I won't be surprised if at the start of next year it's Alonso and Ocon.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, Ocon's done well this year. Hopefully, he can keep it up, and yeah, we'll see how it works out for him.
I've got a question for Richard though. Why do you think Piastri is going to get into that team?
It's a good question, actually. To be honest, I was going to copy the Anik route and think, Alpine might do OFB, original French boys, but then I thought, the beef between them was probably a bit too strong, so I thought maybe not. But yeah, reason for Piastri, actually, funny enough, is because I was doing a bit of research on their team principal, right? And when he was at MotoGP, with like was it Yamaha or Suzuki or whatever?
Suzuki.
Yeah, with Suzuki. The thing is, what he likes to do is promote people from like the F2 equivalents of MotoGP, so Moto2. But he likes to promote them early, like the guys where people have suggested that they shouldn't be promoted as quick. Like sort of like similar to like what's going on with Tsunoda at the moment, where people think he's been promoted a bit too quick. He likes to do that and then put them in like, championship contender teams, and it usually pays off. And the time that he was there in MotoGP, he managed to do that 3 times, where he managed to call, people that got called up a bit, who they thought got called up a bit too early, but then it ended up paying off. So I thought he might translate that into F1 and call up someone from the Alpine Academy who's in F2. And then, so I thought about, okay, there's Piastri, there's, who else did he go? Christian Lundgaard.
Lundgaard and Zhao.
And Zhao as well. So I thought, okay, maybe he might call up Piastri, depending on where he finishes. And maybe, he might just think, into the future, let's look to the world's future. Let's just go young, new regulations, so on and so on. And let's just see if that risk pays off. So I thought maybe he might go down that route. Perhaps that's the reason why I picked Piastri, really.
I don't see.
I also think Alonso's too toxic for him as well. I feel like they're going to bump heads a lot as well. So I feel like even though we signed a 2-year deal, he's going to try and look to shift them out early and get one of the academy boys in. Because to be honest with you, Alpine don't really promote from the academy. Like, I can't remember the last time that they done that, really, when it was being Renault or whatever. I don't know, it might have been like Grosjean or something like back 10 years ago. But you don't really promote from the academy. But now you've got a team principal that does that. Yeah. Go on, Kunle.
No, I'm just saying, like, because I feel like with the new next year's cars are going to be new cars, no, like new regulation cars. So I feel like a lot of these guys would want like one hold head, apart from Haas, obviously, because Haas don't give a shit. Haas are just here for vibes. A lot of the teams would have like someone that is like reliable. And in as much as I don't rate Alonso that much, I still feel like if you have a decent car that can stay on the road, it's going to reliably give you development information and solid points on your car. Like, it'll tell you what can be improved or stuff like that. At least that's what the paddock sort of has to believe. But yeah, I mean, that's one of those teams where you're not really sure what's going to happen there. Like, too much ifs and buts there. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens with Alpine. Personally, I think they're going to cut ties with Alonso. I think he's going to show his age this year, as much as he claims to be part of the young driver program, and one of these young kids that can fight out with the with the younger drivers. But look, let's see what happens there. Let's look at Haas now. Obviously, he's going to be there, but a lot of us. He being Maz's spin. But we also reckon that, Schumacher, 4 of us reckon that Schumacher's going to be alongside him, apart from Richard. Let me come to you on this, Kwame. Schumacher tends to have a good second season, doesn't he, at the at the team he races for. I guess we see that again with Haas next year.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be the case for him. I feel like he's a guy as well who needs consistency, and I feel like Ferrari put they're kind of in bed with Haas. I only put that in. They've transferred some of the engineers from Ferrari to Haas. Haas even got base in Maranello as well, which is Ferrari's HQ. So I feel like Ferrari are making the shots and making the call. I'm pretty sure Günther himself even said that Ferrari were the ones who made the choice about where Schumi goes. Literally, they said you're going Haas, even though I feel like it'd be better than Alfa Romeo. They said, boom, you're going Haas. So I feel like that'll be the case here. They've also got multi-year contracts, sadly, the both of them. But I feel like they're hiring for the future of the team. Like, we don't know what the future of the team is. We don't know if Dr. Egghead is going to buy out, or the other guy with long hair and a beard, he's going to buy out or whatnot. But I feel like they're looking at the future and the future Reds, 2 young rookies. It does make sense changing the rookies. They're hopefully growing the team, but I'm confident. Hopefully, Mick next year can lead the team. He's already had some good performances already. Outperforming Latifi in a Williams car, which his teammate George Russell was being put into the edge of Q2. So yeah, listen, the car's trash. We know the car's trash, but hopefully they make the right movements next year. So Mick can have a good season. That's what
definitely, yeah. You never know. Mick Hive could be trending a bit more. It started trending on Pitstop Fracas Discord of all places. That was where you heard Mick Hive first.
Yeah, that is nasty.
But yeah, no, it was nasty. But Kunle, you were in there battling the guys on the Discord. So hopefully you could let them speak, and let's see if it happens. He always tends to have a good second season. So let's see if it works out for him. We can touch on Alfa Romeo, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of permutations, a lot of
Anik,
combinations that we have on screen.
Anik, before you go to Alfa Romeo, Richard, I need to understand why Kvyat. Like, where did Kvyat come from?
Makes no sense. I think he's
okay. Hang on. Hear me out. So I was scrolling on Twitter, as you do, tapping into F1 Twitter, and someone said that they've seen that if the Dimitri Mazepin does buy out Haas, that he'll want an all-Russian lineup. So I was thinking, okay, that kind of does make sense. So of course, who else is Russian? Kvyat, obviously. The thing is with Mick as well is that
mate,
he only, like, Dimitri Mazepin he ain't a broke boy. Like, he's got racks on. Like, he can buy you a Birkin. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
buy you a couple of Birkins. He's worth like almost $7 billion. He's not no small boy. You get me? So he doesn't need Mick Schumacher's little 10-15 mil off the sponsors that he's bringing in. What does he need that for? If he can, make it proper Putin FC, he's gonna bring
Putin FC.
That sounds awful. That actually sounds awful. Terrible. No, I get what you mean, but that sounds just. Yeah. I want everyone to
does. I know. It does, especially with Rich Energy as sponsoring it as well. It sounds like an absolute shit show. But hey, if you're gonna make it a shit show, may as well go all the way. So why have this little German kid who's the son of Michael? He's got all these straps and whatever. Just bring in Kvyat, make it full, controversial. So that's the only reason why I said that.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope that doesn't happen, man.
I hope it doesn't see. But hey ho,
terrible, awful. I'm so sorry. I have to stress that sounds awful.
Lost for words. But so, Richard, you suggested then on the back of that Schumacher will probably move to Alfa Romeo. I don't want to touch too much on Alfa Romeo after their horrendous pit stop last week. Bringing out a deflated tire. I don't know how much time we can give them on our pod, to be honest with you. As I said to all our listeners, all our viewers on YouTube, let us know in the comments. We're going to put these combos on the Twitter page. Interact with it. Let us know your thoughts on these. But the general consensus is that Giovinazzi will be there next year. Kwame went for Hulkenberg and Eilert. Celia reckons the F2 winner will partner Giovinazzi next year. And I said it'll be Giovinazzi and Eilert at the helm for Alfa Romeo. Guys, we may as well get stuck into the meat and bones of this. Where do we go first? Let's go to Mercedes. So we've all chosen the same combo at Mercedes, and surprise, it's not what it is this year. We've all gone for Hamilton and Russell next year at Mercedes, which means that Mr. Valtteri Bottas is not going to be there next year Only 4 races in. Celia, are we being too harsh? 4 races in.
Listen, before someone on Twitter comes to start shouting at me again, telling me that I'm being too harsh on Bottas, blah, 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 I'm so sorry. Even Bottas himself knows that he's gone now. You see last week's race when they said he needed to move out of the way for Hamilton. And he didn't. That was all that was the clear sign that I needed for what I already knew was done from probably 2 races ago. He's not there next season. He's trying to be selfish in a very stupid way. That just doesn't make sense, because I don't know why he was trying to hold him up. It just didn't make sense. He was very stupid. But having said that, he's gone. He knows he's gone. Obviously, Mercedes have come out. Toto has come out and said that we unlike other people, we won't just remove. We won't do musical chairs, blah blah blah. So they'll give him this season for sure. But once the season is out, he is gone. I think he also knows he's gone. I said, because usually he's Mr. Dependable, moves out of the way for Hamilton to do his job. The reason why he didn't move out of the way is because he knows it's over. But I'm so sorry. People do things like that when they know that their time is basically finished. Their time is up. I think that Russell is, every day you hear great things about Russell. I mean, I saw something a bit wild saying that he was at race pace with Hamilton and how he's going to be blah, blah, blah. I mean, I get it. I like the kid. I like the way he drives. I mean, I'm not going to disrespect Sir Lewis Hamilton like that. However, I would say that he's done more than enough to prove in a subpar car that he can do a lot and that he deserves the seat. I think Bottas is just finished. Every season he comes with this, I'm on a different wave, I'm in a different mindset, your pace is off. I just don't get it. As I said, I go back to last season, I feel like they gave him a lifeline because Russell came in and tore it up in the car, not even having how many practices in it. I'm so sorry. From that moment, I knew that Bottas was on thin ice. So I think that this season, his start has already shown that he's not gonna. I just think, no, I just can't. There's nothing anyone can say. I think the reason why Toto came out to even like defend and say that we're not going to get rid of him now is because any other team or Red Bull, he'd be gone because it's just not working. So yeah, definitely goner. Hamilton, I feel like he's good. I feel like he loves it. And like this season, I feel like if this season was like last season, he probably would have retired. But having Max really on his tail, having to do different types of driving, like feeling the competition again, I feel like he's going to stay for another year at least. So
if Hamilton wins it this year, be number 8, still be more motivation there, even though he would have broken history.
I think it's he's a very competitive person. And he enjoys what he does. I don't know for certain. I mean, it's a bit with him because once he's broken the record, he has that choice. But if you saw the way he was talking after that first race, and even after last week's race, like you feel the energy. Like even his interviews are completely different to how they were last season because he thrives off that competition. Even Nico was saying it when he was talking about the competition and about between him and him. He was saying that, yeah, like Lewis lives for that kind of competition. He is a competitor. And so it's like Schumacher, Alonso knocked him off. I think he enjoys that challenge. So I don't think he's going to go just yet.
Personally. Yeah, I mean, I'll be here for it, man. I've got too much time for Hamilton. The more he wins, the more I smile, and the more happier we are. Richard, Bottas, he's not staying for 22? Why not?
Nah, I just can't see it happening, really. Even though Toto's never been in a position to actually get rid of a driver, really, I think this time he's going to have to, because at the end of the year, it's going to make it 3 years since George has been at Williams, and the brother's starving. Like he's just right around the back market. He can't even get a point. The brother's starving. He's going the Astor with only a partner's bank account. It's peak for him. Do you get me? It's like peak. He's going with Selfridge's window shopping, thinking, we should could afford that. But see, but he can't afford it. So I think Toto's going to have to make a decision to make, really. is that if he doesn't promote Russell for next year, he might end up losing him. There might be a mad situation where a door opens up at, somewhere like Alpine or something, I don't know, something mad like that, really. And I think George will take it because, as I said, the poor guy, when you think about it, when he won F2, he won it ahead of Lando Norris and Alex Albon, right? So Lando Norris has had 2 years and counting in that McLaren, and he's been enjoying life. He's got a couple of podiums, he's got loads of point finishes, he's shown up with Danny Vic. And Albon, he had a nice, 18 months at Red Bull, couple of podiums here and there and whatever. But George has never experienced that. And if he's staying any longer at a back, assuming Williams, if let's say, for example, if the new regs come in and Williams end up still being a back market team, that'll be a 4th year in a row where he's wasting his talent. You don't want him to stagnate. So I think Toto's gonna have to will make the decision that he's gonna swap Bottas for George and take that risk. Because at the end of the day, it'll be good prep for him to learn off Lewis in order to try and be the number one to lead Mercedes into the future. He's not going to learn too much off Bottas. I mean, he can learn something, but compared to Lewis,
he's not going to learn.
Yeah, it's night and day, isn't it? It's night and day. So that'll be good prep. So let's say Lewis, retires 2022. Then, George might be ready. He's taking on all the knowledge, all the info. And then, I think that'll be the most logical decision, really.
Because he's a very, very good driver. What he does in the Williams, I feel like he works miracles in it.
Yeah, he does a madness. Yeah, he does a madness. Yeah,
he does a madness. And as I said, I always go back to that initial race that he did in the Mercedes. Imagine him and Hamilton driving. I think it would be such a good. It's like the future. It's like Lewis preparing the future. It would be to me. It makes perfect sense. I think
And obviously, Hamilton, if you're listening out there, apologies. You are Sir. I know he keeps saying Lewis Hamilton, but you are Sir Lewis Hamilton. All of us here at Pitstop Fracas, we think you're going to be there next year. Hopefully, you're going to make it number 9. Sorry, number 9 for 2022. My apologies. Kunle, let me come to you. Just wrapping up here. So you think that Hamilton and Russell are going to be at Mercedes next year, and you also think that Aitken and Latifi, I hope I pronounced that right, Aitken and Latifi at Williams next year. Aitken.
Yeah.
So where does that leave your guy Bottas? What's he going to be doing? Is he going to be a pilot? Is he going to be driving yachts? Is he going to be doing rallies? Is he going to be doing Le Mans? What's happened to Bottas next year then?
I don't give a shit what happens to Bottas next year.
Indy.
He's gonna
go.
He's gonna be doing cycling Tour de France and that.
He's gonna go do. He's gonna go on it. He's gonna go. He's going
Spa. He'll do another spa vacation. We'll see some more cheeks.
Yeah, he's gonna go do something, and I don't really care what he does. But I'm not putting Russell in Mercedes because I think he's gonna be a great Mercedes driver. I'm just putting him in there because I want him to be in the mud. I want him to be in a car that's going to be faster. He doesn't know what he's going to be doing in that car, and he's going to struggle. I'm here to.
Vibes. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but
I want George Russell.
Welcome to Kunle's world.
I want George Russell in the mud. I know I'm going to get killed for this everywhere.
Bad vibes.
I want that man in the mud. Not because the kid's not done anything wrong. Actually, he's done something wrong. He's crashed into Bottas, and he didn't take responsibility immediately. He's trying to be like a big man. I know you man referenced Bahrain, that Grand Prix, but we've said it times without number. That track deceives people. It's an easy track to drive. It's not the most technical track. It's an easy track to drive. And the man was getting coached all through. It's like it was basically like Bono in his ears telling him, "Yeah, press this button. Yeah, go left, go right, turn around." He had a driving instructor in his ears. Like that man did not drive that. He didn't drive that car by himself. But that's not what my agenda is. That's not what my agenda is. This was. But let me tell you, this Mercedes and Williams was the last one I did. And what triggered it to be the last was I saw that tweet, the one you referenced, about a certain man in the Williams team saying Russell is doing Hamilton He's doing Hamilton
Well, that
numbers.
was cheeky. No, I said it. That was cheeky.
And you know what? That basically said, okay, you man want to break. You man want this boy to get crucified. You want him to get killed. I'm here for it. I'll gladly look. Listen, I'm saying it here today. I'll gladly be the number one George Russell hater in that Mercedes car.
Because of a tweet that he didn't even, a statement he didn't even make.
That's his man's. He should keep his man's in order. That's his boy.
Vibes.
Yes, I do not care. That's his boy. You know, whatever happens
you were
to
Bottas
him.
for real, boy. I tell you, I got to respect you.
You're riding out for Bottas.
So
you're gonna be you're
You
gonna be
rapping out
flying
Reggie
around.
for real.
No, I'm this at this point is I'm repping Lewis because you're not comparing George Russell to Lewis. You do not do that.
But he doesn't.
No, it's not one. That's the thing, though. It's not one guy, though. It's the whole of a certain part of Twitter that's always like, yeah, if we put George Russell in that car, he's doing the same thing, or is doing better than Lewis. It's not one guy. Let's not act like it's one guy. Let's not act like it's one guy. I want him to go to that team. I want him to get. You know, when someone says, you know, I don't know if you remember Mike Tyson saying, "I want to eat your heart. I want to eat your soul. I want to eat your children." I want him to get eaten up. I don't even mind Mercedes.
Sir!
Look, listen. I don't mind.
Edit.
I don't. I don't mind Mercedes not winning the constructors championship. I want to see that man finish.
Listen, first of all, Kunle, Hamilton's a vegan, by the way. So let's just there's a bit of decorum here, bro.
Look, listen, I'm pissed. Like, I'm legit pissed. Like, you don't compare that man to Lewis Hamilton. Maybe a couple podiums. Maybe you'll get a couple podiums, but I want to be seeing him P7, P9, P11, P10, P8, P6, and he's gonna get binned at the end of this season.
I don't think that's realistic. I honestly don't think that's realistic.
Okay, we'll see.
I think what he's done in the Williams, honestly, like I'm not. Obviously, as I said, put respect on Sir Lewis Hamilton's name. We've already said that, but that whole bit just now was extremely harsh. His heart, his soul. Do you know what?
Agenda's good, but this is my agenda. You know, I'm ready with my agenda. I might change my mind at the start of next season when he's driving the car. You know, maybe I'll be a bit calmer and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, George Russell. I want you to do well, but yeah, I said what I said. But yeah, Bottas is out of here. He's had a good F1 ride. He's got podiums. He's got wins. Yeah, just go chill out for a year. Maybe there'll be a drive that opens up again. I don't think he wants to go back to that Williams. I don't see him going back to Williams unless Mercedes are financing it, unless they're paying it for it. I don't think he wants to take that step back. Nah.
Well, obviously, Kunle, it remains to be seen whether or not Bottas, if he does move on from Mercedes, I think is more than likely.
He might have a very good rest of the season and, you know, finish P2 and sign another year at Mercedes.
But yeah, well, you never know. I mean, just based on what's happened in the first 4 races, as well as like a spillover from last year as well, I don't think he's going to be able to cut it. I actually think he's going to go to Williams next year. He's been there before. He was quite comfortable there. I think he still wants to stay in Formula One. I just don't think he can cut the mustard anymore at Mercedes. That is all we have time for today. On that bombshell, Kunle, I think you've left a lot of us speechless. Let's see what happens to Bottas at the end of this year. Let's see what happens to Russell in 22. Already, I'm looking forward to it. Kunle, you've set in stone agendas already. And yeah, I guess with that, we will look to wrap it up here. The lineup that we have on screen at the moment, we're going to put that under the tweet. Feel free to let us know your thoughts on it. There's a lot of combos that we haven't gone over. Like Kwame suggested, Hulkenberg and Ilott at Alfa Romeo. Just haven't had time today to go through them all. But be sure to let us know your thoughts on the tweet. Again, if you haven't already, sign up to the Discord. It's crazy in there. We're going to be doing hopefully a live next week where we'll be going over the Monaco Grand Prix. Might not be the most exciting race, but please be sure to check out the Discord. It's always good fun and a bag of laughs in there. So yeah, until then, we'll have another pod for you next week to go through the Monaco race review. But until then, peace, guys.
Take care.